I really like bread. Whether it be baking bread, eating bread, or sharing bread, I think that bread deserves to be a universal commodity that everyone can reap the benefits of. However, it has come to my attention that some people simply don't have access to bread ingredients, refuse to share their bread with others, don't have a functional bread recipe, or lack the motivation to learn how to bake bread because they are handed bread for free. This is bad because how does one open a successful bread bakery without mastering how to distribute bread to the public? As the saying goes, if you give a girl a loaf of bread, you feed her for a day. If you teach a girl how to bake a loaf of bread, you feed her for a lifetime. This idea is not only applicable to delicious carbohydrates, but also to sub-Saharan African countries. Monetary foreign aid in Africa is essentially free bread, and although this free money has a lot of potential if allocated responsibly, it often ends up hindering development. Although this may seem counterintuitive, there are a multitude of reasons why the theory of large donations being the solution to closing the savings gap in Africa is a fallacy. The first being that it continually funds bad governments, especially in Africa where colonialism has left behind a faltering democracy. By reinforcing the amount of money at the disposal of corrupt elites, aid can be allocated toward unproductive outlets, such as military equipment, dishonest procedures, and white elephant projects, but not the greater public. Foreign aid also creates a dependency between recipients and donors because there are no incentives for creating other modes of self sustainability, income generation, or civic initiatives in the long run that would benefit not only the state of the economy but also the welfare of citizens. In a place where 1 in 3 people fall below the poverty line, you may be wondering, how can we help Africa get that bread and also reap the benefits of that bread? To answer that question, I've come up with a beginner's level recipe for how to develop the African economy, of which contains 4 key ingredients. The first ingredient being opening up trade borders. Despite Africa being abundant in natural resources like oil, diamonds, gold, coffee, and cocoa, the continent only accounts for about 2% of global trade. Promoting trade on a regional scale first will help encourage countries to work toward common economic interests, and then allow for the free movement of labor, goods, capital, and services competitively on a global scale. The second ingredient is empowering women and girls. It's impossible to unlock the full potential of an economy without utilizing the skills of 50% of the population. In a region where 16.7 million girls are uneducated and 66% of women are illiterate, investing in this demographic would yield a stronger workforce and thus increased consumerism. The third ingredient is supporting policy reforms to overcome legal and regulatory constraints. In order to grow and prosper, a country needs law, law enforcement, courts, basic infrastructure, formal banking systems, and a government capable of collecting taxes. I believe that regulation is like the Goldilocks principle, where too much or too little can lead to corruption, so there must be a balance. And finally, the fourth ingredient in our recipe is investing in humans. As we learned in Naked Economics, poverty stems from lack of human capital, and if given the right tools, training, and opportunity, there would be greater utility available to perform productive work. Some examples of investments in human capital include educational scholarships and apprenticeship programs. I also believe it's important to invest in social services and civic initiative projects like water treatment centers, road construction, and healthcare clinics that benefit the welfare of the general public, not just the top elites. Africa receives $50 billion in international aid every year, and I believe it's important for donor countries to question the effectiveness of an initiative that appears altruistic but yields perverse incentives. Free money does not hold governments accountable for their economic growth, nor the welfare of their citizens, but instead feeds a self perpetuating cycle that hurts all parties involved and keeps the stigma of Africa being a hopeless case alive when in reality they're fully capable of making that bread if given the right ingredients.